Hey, it's Adam from Next Level Radio. I had a chance to speak with Tony Denison from TNT's hit drama Major Crimes. Tony was awesome to talk to. He also helped us out before the interview by sharing it on his Facebook and Twitter, so we'd like to thank him again for that. He gave us some great insight into the show Major Crimes, as well as his character, Lieutenant Andy Flynn. Tony also told us about some of the projects he has upcoming this year, including 3 feature films. Make sure you check that out. Follow him on Twitter at RealTonyDenison. Also follow us on Twitter at NXT Level Radio and give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/Next Level Radio Online. And head over to our website, nextlevelradioonline.com. There you will find shows, more guest spotlights like this one, and much, much more. If you want to hear a recap of this interview, listen to myself and my co-host Ben Beck on the Showcast, Sunday, July 13th. If you miss out on the live episode or the live interviews, you can always subscribe to us on iTunes and download them on the go. Thanks for listening and enjoy the interview. Welcome to another guest spotlight here on Next Level Radio. I'm your host, Adam Gorey. Tonight's guest has been appearing in movies and television for about 30 years and still going strong. He began playing his character, Lieutenant Andy Flynn, in 2005 on TNT's The Closer, and now you can still see him as Lieutenant Flynn every Monday at 9/8 Central on TNT's hit drama Major Crimes, including tonight's brand new episode. Joining me on the Next Level Radio hotline, please welcome Mr. Tony Denison. Tony, thank you for coming on. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing very well. How was your 4th of July weekend?
It was nice. It was very Norman Rockwell. I walked down to the end of the block where I live. My girlfriend and I and a friend, we watched fireworks and annual fireworks display down the block from where I've been living. And so that was fun. And the afternoon went to a friend's house for a barbecue, and it was, just very laid back, very nice.
Are you West Coast or East Coast?
I am from New York originally, but I love living in California.
Okay, so you live in California now.
Yeah,
okay, because we're Philadelphia based, so I mean it was like 95 here today. I'm sure you probably had a little bit nicer weather.
Yeah, it was warm here today, but it was finally a little less humid.
Yeah,
We've been getting a lot of humidity of late. And, that really stinks.
Yeah, we.
But even so, like I tell people, I'll take dry and wet heat any day over any kind of dry or wet colds.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to complain at all because, the winter we had, I'll take the 95 degree with like 80% humidity. I'll stay inside.
Right.
Now, I hear you're a little bit of a cook. You like to cook a lot?
I like to cook, yeah. I don't know if a lot it's a fair representation of it, but I do like to cook. I like to cook. I like to build things. I guess I'm an amateur carpenter.
Okay. Did you speaking of the cooking part, did you grill anything special over 4th of July, or do you usually just go burgers and dogs?
I didn't do anything special. I went to, like I said, a friend's house, and he, excuse me, and he and his wife, did the cooking, and it was nice. And then, just chowed down, chowed down on the food and had a good time. And then when I got back here, we watched the fireworks. My other friend left, and then my girl and I had some popcorn.
Very nice. Do you ever bring up to your co-star on Major Crimes, Mary McDonald? Did you ever bring up her stout or her role as First Lady Marilyn Whitmore in Independence Day? One of my favorite, patriotic films.
Yeah, I've talked to her about it, and how much fun. How I enjoy the movie. I enjoy watching it. I don't know what it is about the movie, but every time it's on, I somehow wind up staying tuned to it. He's a very interesting director, Roland, and I'd like the opportunity to work with him someday.
Yeah,
he's a very interesting director. He does, he does real homespun kind of storytelling. Very simple stuff, but it works.
Yeah, and the president's speech in that movie, we do a weekly show every Sunday. We were talking about it yesterday. The president's speech in that movie is probably one of the greatest movie speeches of all time.
Yeah. No, it's a good show. It's a good show.
Yeah. Before we get into Major Crimes, I want to thank you actually for doing a little sharing and a little tweeting about you coming on with us. I saw you had retweeted a couple times and shared on your Facebook page. Which
my publicist is all over me about tweeting and Facebooking.
And if you want to follow,
you gotta get social media. You got to do the social media. I'm like, all right.
Is it?
Like I don't want to do it. It's so strange and different.
I was gonna say, did it take a little getting used to with especially with Twitter? I mean, Facebook's a little different, but Twitter, I mean, literally, it's just update after update after update.
Well, to tell you the truth, I still don't understand all the hashtags, why you have to hashtag, and who cares if whoever you're hashtagging sees what you just want to post something, post it, for God's sake.
Yes, I saw you actually have a little bit of a Twitter following with the hashtags with Flynn Girls.
Oh my God, I've got like 5,000 followers on Twitter.
And it's
I mean, I don't have as many as some people out there, but I got a good number of people who follow me.
Oh yeah, and I was going to say, because it's funny, because we've had some people on with 20 or 30 or whatever, but their fans, I feel like it's 30,000 people, but only maybe a couple thousand pay attention to what they actually say. With you, it seemed like you have about 5,000 or so, and all 5,000 are paying attention to what you're saying. I mean, it's, what I mean? Like, some people just have followers for followers, but you have actually, like, loyal followers.
Well, it's like they say, quality rather than quantity.
Exactly.
So, I mean, they're good people all, and a lot of them are, like really serious fans, too, of the show. And, they ask really, like, heads-up kind of questions. And, you can't answer every single tweet, otherwise you'd have go out of your mind. I mean, you can't answer every tweet, even if you had 100 followers.
Yeah.
But, so I try to the best of my ability to, stay in the game with that. I mean, like tonight, we have the new episode, so sometimes, I'll try to live tweet while the episode's going on.
Oh, that's cool.
Again, pardon me, the biggest problem there is that I'm not a fast typer, even if I'm doing it with my thumbs. And, and I tend to, like, get annoyed with spell check when it doesn't spell it exactly what I want. And,
Do you usually type on your phone or on your computer?
My phone.
Okay,
or my iPad.
Okay, because I was going to say, because sometimes, speaking of typing on phones and computer, my autocorrect, because I have an iPhone as well, my autocorrect will change words that are actual words to different words that I don't mean. Like, it changed the word food to good the other day. I don't know how that makes any sense. But anyway, so as I mentioned earlier, you began your career, back in the mid-'80s. What's, other than maybe social media, what's been the biggest change in television and movies that you've experienced during your extensive acting career?
I guess the thing is that so many more opportunities for actors to act.
Okay.
Yeah,
just so many more, like, outlets and stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, when I got my break with Crime Story,
right,
I think Fox was just starting out. I mean, I did it was ABC, NBC, CBS. I think Fox was just brand new at the time, or maybe a year old or 2 years old at the most.
Okay.
So there were 4 networks. There were no real there was one cable show, a sitcom, I think, in 1985, and it didn't last very long. And then, there was some people giving it a shot, but it wasn't really happening on any kind of, big way. And then all of a sudden, cable networks started to blossom, and,
now Fox has 3 of its own networks, or 3 or 4 networks.
Yeah, I mean, you have. I remember USA when it first started. Everybody thought, "Oh, please, what is this?" Now it's really a great network. Same thing with Yeah, same thing with whatchamacallit.
Well, TNT itself, I mean, the Turner networks are, with TBS.
Yeah, TNT. I was going to say TNT and TBS.
True TV.
I mean, I used to just watch TBS just to watch, the Braves play. Baseball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really watch much of what they, they had reruns of of shows that I didn't really care or wasn't big fans of. So I didn't watch much TNT, but I did watch, the Braves games. Certainly the playoffs I did.
Right.
And then what happened? And then the FX came along.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you think about it as an actor right now, there is just so many wonderful opportunities. I mean, it's just FX. Showtime is doing original. Everybody. I mean, hell, there was even an original show on Animal Planet, I think, for a little while.
Oh yeah, I think they have a couple not reality shows, but they have the guides and stuff that'll and a lot of them aren't even animal related anymore with Animal Planet. They have a lot of shows that are just like I think there was a guy who builds pools.
Yeah, and there's a show about what animals politicians are and stuff like that.
Yeah, and even just like stuff like YouTube. I mean, people have begun careers off of
and now
YouTube.
You have the web. Now you have web series.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's the short answer now, to try to make this a shorter answer, is that there's to be so many more opportunities, but competition is still. I mean, there's a lot of people queuing up looking for work.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful profession, but there is a lot of downtime.
Yeah, well, I mean, you must be doing something right, being in it this long. So, kudos to you on that. Now,
thank you. Perseverance, I think, is an important part of this business. But anyway.
Yeah, definitely, I would agree with that. But anyway, on to Major Crimes. Originally it was, or not originally, I should say, but it was the closer, and then it spun off into Major Crimes. Tell us a little bit about, for anyone who's unfamiliar with the show, just a brief description about your character, Lieutenant Andy Flynn.
Well, Andy is the kind of guy who covets loyalty very, very much. Loyalty is very important. Watching, having somebody cover your back is important to him. If you've got Andy's back, he's got your back forever. And, he's one of these guys who goes right up to the edge of, the ends justify the means. But he doesn't cross that line, which is an interesting character to play. Because, I mean, there's a lot of shows where the character crosses the line, and then you see, the havoc that ensues, and that can be interesting too.
Right.
But sometimes restraint is much more exciting and interesting to play than not being restrained.
Yeah, I think it's easier to not be restrained. You know what I mean? It takes a little more creativity to do it the more restrained way, like you were talking about.
Especially if you're a cop. If you're a cop, nobody wants to see a mean prick cop. Nobody wants to see that. They don't mind seeing a cop who's mad. They don't mind seeing a cop who could become, emotional.
Right.
But if he's mean and he's a prick, I mean, it's like, you want the cop to lose.
Yeah, and my dad's a police officer, so I've been around plenty, and that's actually more, you're always going to have a couple guys who are kind of just dicks, but that's more of the thing. Like, it's more about like a brotherhood and stuff like that, rather than just power hungry, asshole type of guy.
Yeah, you can't play a guy who's just. I mean, you can if there's an interesting part to that if you're going to play this, But again, it can become disconcerting.
Yeah.
I find it much more interesting, if for a cop like my character and a lot of the characters on the show, they just get to the point where they're about to cross over the line and they don't.
Yeah, and
crossing over the line becomes a lot of responsibility with that for the writers to make sure that they don't make the characters look mean.
Yeah, and it's a very emotional and deep show at the same time with Major Crimes, which is I think one of the more positive aspects about it. There's a lot of character development, and you really get into what their lives are like besides just solving crimes.
Yeah.
And
and
sorry,
it's interesting stuff. No, I said it's interesting stuff to play. As an actor, there's a lot of enjoyment to doing that. You get these little side stories because, in a sense, we're an episodic show.
right.
We're not really a serialized show.
Exactly.
But James has managed to put the serialized aspect to it. I mean, like on Murder, She Wrote, week after week she has her quirks, but it wasn't so much a question of like some dangling story somewhere.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Same thing on Columbo. Interesting episodic shows, but our show we have a beginning, middle, and end. But there's some things that linger.
Yeah, there's a couple
underlying.
There's a couple underlying stories, like with Rusty and his mom.
Right. So based on the support that we really seem to be enjoying, we seem to be enjoying from the show, then it becomes clear that we have this we're this odd hybrid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think it definitely works.
Which is great.
Yeah, obviously it works.
I mean, like when I did Crime Story, Crime Story really was a serialized show that had episodic, overtones to it.
Okay.
But it was a serial. I mean, plain and simple. Torello was chasing Luca and wanted to catch him, and that was the main focus of the series. But episode after episode, there was some storyline that had a conclusion, had an eruption and a conclusion.
Yeah, I think X-Files was kind of like that too, right?
Well, X-Files was a cool show in that regard, especially because he's got this thing about believing that there's all this unexplainable stuff out there, and that there's truth to it. And so each week, while there's a new story, each new story, is a what's the word I'm looking for? It's proof positive that what he believes is true.
Yeah.
And so the episodic part of it is really, supportive of the serial nature of the show, which is him, Muldoon or Muldur or whatever his name is.
Mulder,
tracking down these unexplainable situations. Which is, it's really well done. Chris Carter, who I know is executive producer on that show, I used to play baseball with him, and it's a clever show. It was a very clever show.
Yeah, it's very cool. And like you said, when you can pull off that hybrid between both of the types of shows, it really pays off. And obviously, Major Crimes is no different, considering it's doing just as well as The Closer did when that was on. Now, what can we kind of expect from tonight's episode? I know it has a couple of guest stars on it as well.
Well, what is tonight's episode? Tonight's episode is the one with the foreign diplomat?
I'm not
entirely
I just
sure.
know it guest stars John Tenney and Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yeah. That's the one that involves the there's a foreign. Excuse me. You need to cough in your ear. There's a foreign diplomat.
That's right.
And all the problems you have with the diplomatic immunity, which I don't know. I guess you can look at it both ways. If you're an American in a foreign country,
you'd want
like
that.
to have some sort of diplomatic immunity from some lunatics. But then again, when you read over what's going on in the other countries, they don't seem to pay much attention.
Yeah, it is a bit of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah, yeah. But we do here pretty much, and so it's an episode about how it's a tough path to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you. I remember I got my car towed one time, and I was living in New York, and I had parked near the Ugandan, I think it's Uganda, embassy parking in New York. Now, my car wasn't really, okay, granted, I had like maybe about a foot of my car, but there was another car that was egregiously parked right in the middle. So because my car was the first one that you could get to, I got towed so the Ugandan, ambassador could park. Well, I remember I almost had an international incident. I mean, because let's face facts. I mean, Idi Amin was not like, necessarily a cuddly kind of guy. And I went, holy shit, my friend, like, was about ready to give me an injection of Dorazine because, but, after a while I went, okay, you know what? I was a little bit in the spot. It's like, it's being like a little bit pregnant. You know what I mean? But the other guy was parked completely in the zone.
Yeah, it's tough dealings when you're going international like that. It's very delicate, especially with depending on the country. Obviously, I mean, maybe Canada would not be as.
Because I mean, it was up into the coin toss as to whether or not I was in parked. My car extended into the DPL place, designation. But when I said to the cop who came, because I was creating quite a scene, he said to me, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "You expect me to knock on the door and complain? What are we going to do here?"
Yeah, exactly.
He goes, "You know what?" He goes, "You got the short end of the stick on this one."
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta swallow
take it like a man and go get your car. And I said, "All right." So I stiff upper lipped it and left. But I was so in the right,
Yeah, mostly are, but sometimes you just gotta.
If it happened in another country, who knows? Maybe some of those lunatics would have firebombed the car. I don't know.
Yeah, you never know these days, especially with everything going on overseas. But so now, like I had mentioned a couple times, this is your 10th season playing Lieutenant Andy Flynn. Was there ever an adjustment period for you once you realized this wasn't just a character you'd be playing for like a couple years? Because a lot of people and a lot of shows, you only end up playing the same character for a couple years, or if you're in a movie, it's only 1-2 hour movie or something like that. But when you're playing the same character for 10 years, going on 10 years, and probably, well and beyond that, is there any type of adjustment period that you go through?
Nope. Not for me.
Okay. Simple enough. So other than not having Kira Sedgwick on, how does Major Crimes... What's the major difference, I guess, from the closer?
What's that?
What would be
the
major difference between Major Crimes and the closer, other than not having Kira Sedgwick?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess we all have more to do, I suppose, though it was always an ensemble show to begin with. So, and then, you had Kira sort of like, spearheading the ensemble. And that's kind of what's going on today. I mean, it's an ensemble show with Mary, the head of the squad and sort of spearheading the ensemble. But we're all part of the ensemble. I mean, I know the show was called The Closer, and Kira's character was specifically a closer,
right?
In the police parlance. But I mean, don't forget, 5 years of the 7 years we were on the air, the show was nominated for Best Ensemble for the Screen Actors Guild Award. That's no small task when you consider shows like Boardwalk Empire, Sopranos, Mad Men, Game of Thrones. Those are really, ensemble kind of shows.
Yeah.
And they, we were getting nominated along with them.
And even
that's some tough competition.
Lost was on at the same time too, and that was basically all ensemble.
Oh yeah. Right. I mean, there were certain people whose names came first in the credits.
Right.
And that's part of the way, that's the way it's designed.
Now,
Kira was, she was in a very important part of our show.
Yeah. Do you know if there's any plans to have her guest star at any point in Major Crimes?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not trying to be coy.
No.
I'm not trying to give away a surprise. I mean, I really don't. I don't believe so. I don't believe that's the case.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I feel like
never say never.
Yeah, I feel like if that does happen, it would probably be a last-minute scheduling thing anyway.
Right, and it's like that whole part of that story is, and everything connected to it is sort of, it's sort of done, and
right.
I don't, it's like sometimes you're better off leaving them on a strong note instead of like, it's like I remember one time, God rest his soul, Brandon Tartikoff, when he was alive, I was pretty friendly with him, and there was talk about doing a television version of To Kill a Mockingbird. And I remember I was with him and his wife, and Lily said to him, "No, Brandon, just leave it alone." It's like, what's the point? He goes, "Yeah, I guess you're right." So it's like the same thing with the closer. It's like she left on a high note.
Yeah.
She left a winner. you know, what is she going to do? Come back and say, "Oh, I've developed a gambling problem"? I mean, you know, what you know what I mean?
Yeah,
what do we do?
It would be kind of hard to work that back in there. Now,
right. Yeah,
I have been. We do every once in a while. We get a chance to answer some questions we get from our listeners, either on Twitter or Facebook. I have gotten quite a few tweets actually asking me to check with you if you'd like to see more of a relationship develop with Sharon and Andy, and back to the whole hashtag thing. Everybody likes to combine names. You got the Shandy going on.
Yeah, I would love to see more of it. And it's my understanding that, you know, again, James runs a very interesting, you know, program for the show.
Mm-hmm.
He's very, I mean, the program in his head as to what's going to be in the program of the show is everything is done. I don't want to say like it's like super thought out and overly methodical and, you know, controlled.
Right.
But I mean, he has an idea of where he wants to go with that. And one thing that I know he probably wants to do, though he hasn't said it to me personally, is he probably wants to move slow on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that seems to be the case because it seems like we are moving slow on it. But it's there, and the tease is fun to play with, you know, with Mary and me. You know, I enjoy it.
Yeah, and I think
how do relationship like that go on anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
They just automatically one night they go out to eat and they throw each other down on the bedroom when they get back to the apartment, or do they sort of, you know, shuffle their feet a little bit? And it's like, because it's a big deal. She's the captain.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to, you know, it's like, you know, and the other thing is what's so important about, you know, when you're in the field doing this stuff, it's taking care of each other and not, you know, you imagine what it would be like if you had a beef with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to mess that up. Are you guys,
right.
How far into production are you for the season?
We're just about ready to start shooting episode. We're finishing episode 9.
Okay.
By Wednesday.
Okay.
And then we start episode 10 on Thursday, I believe. And then we have a little mini break, and then we do episode 11.
Okay. And there's 19 total,
work
right?
All the way through to November. 19 total. 10 air in the summer, and 9 air in the winter.
So I guess it would be safe to say that we will see a few, or viewers will see a few more of those Sharon and Andy moments throughout, you know, the remaining episodes of season 3.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you'll see one tonight too, as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly.
Oh, there you go. Now, I know you, other than Major Crimes, you actually have a few other projects coming up pretty soon. I know there's Dementia, Dirty.
Yes, I have 3 different movies. Dementia, Dirty, and Atlas Shrugged.
Okay, and can you tell us anything about those? I mean, just a basic. I know there's 3 of them, so I don't want to.
They're all features. One is about the psychological problems that soldiers go through. They amp it up a little bit to make it a little bit more, you know, not science fiction-y, but they're just amping it up a little bit.
Okay.
And that one I'm executive producing. And
that's Dementia, right?
As well as acting in it. Dementia.
Okay.
Dirty is about, you know, dirty cops, and I play a captain, a commander, who's trying to deal with, you know, the what's going on in his squad. And
okay.
Trying to catch the dirty cops, and then Atlas Shrugged is based on the series of movies Atlas Shrugged, and this is the 3rd installment, and I play a character named Cuffy Miggs, who was in the original novel, but in the storytelling didn't show up in the until later on in the novel.
Okay.
And he's a, you know, pretty severe character.
Okay. And those are all coming out later this year, right? All 2014?
Yes. I don't know exactly when. I mean, but yeah, 2014, I believe. Sure.
Yeah. I you can go off IMDb, but I only usually take that, you know, to heart so much. But I mean, obviously you've been pretty busy, so I mean, that's always good, especially, you know, this day and age, like you said, with that, as much as there is to do.
Right.
Now, I know the interview's just about wrapped up, but before we let you go, we usually like to end our interviews here on Next Level Radio with what's called rapid fire. They're not as bad as they sound. It's just a few quick questions to kind of get to know you a little bit better personally.
Shoot.
Okay, so your first one is pretty easy. What's your favorite pizza topping?
What's my what?
Favorite pizza topping?
Just plain Napolitan style, just cheese and sauce. That's
Okay.
it. If I had to pick one, if you twisted my arm, I would say maybe mushroom. But for the most part, I like it plain.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Next one, if you could guest star on any other TV series, which one would you want to guest star on?
Oh, there's so many. But one that I would probably get a kick out of guest starring on would be Veep.
Veep? Okay, yeah, that's
I love that Veep.
I was gonna say that's got a lot
I get
of.
such a kick out of that show. I really do. And Orange is the New Black. I just started watching that.
Oh, I gotta start. I've been meaning to start that one. It's been on my queue for a while now. It's good. You're telling me it's worth it.
I have 3 or 4 favorite shows. I love Veep. I love Sons of Anarchy, and I'm really enjoying Orange is the New Black. I get such a kick out of those 3 shows. And Game of Thrones. So
everybody
any
loves
one of
Game
those
Thrones.
4 would be cool.
Awesome. Next one, I might know the answer because I don't know if you hinted at it earlier. What's your favorite sport?
Baseball.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I figured. Are you a Yankees guy or a Mets guy?
I guess I'm a Yankees guy. I mean, I haven't. I like the underdog, whoever they may be.
Usually the Mets.
One of the reasons why, but it's usually the Yankees because everybody hates them.
That's true. That is true.
So they're always the underdog. People want them to lose.
Yeah, my dad's from the Bronx, so he actually raised me to at least like the Yankees, so I don't hate them. So I mean, there's that.
Right.
But being from Philadelphia, I kind of have to.
I'd like to see the Cubs finally do it, just to get it over with.
Yeah, that's true. I mean? So you can stop hearing about it.
Like when people say when the Boston Red Sox won, and I was like, oh yeah, well good for them, good for the Red Sox, and people were saying, you really mean that? And I said, well, at least they can't blame the curse of the Bambino anymore. I mean, get over that. Stop with that.
Yeah, really. But then they won it again a few years later.
But the thing is that, right? If they're your best rival, or your favorite rival, it means that they play quality ball. I mean, the Red Sox are a good ball club.
Yeah.
And when the Yankees play the Red Sox, you're going to usually 90% of the time you're going to watch a damn good game.
Yeah, I was going to say, even if, you think the teams aren't good that year, they always play a good game against each other.
Right.
Last one before we let you go. Where have you never been, but you always wanted to go?
Where have I never been that I've always wanted to go?
Doesn't even necessarily have
Israel.
to. Israel? Okay.
Israel.
I was going to say, it could have been space if you wanted. But no, that's definitely a good answer. All right, well, Tony, I really want to thank you for joining us, or joining me, I should say. And again, thank you for tweeting and sharing about our page. It's been a real pleasure having you on.
Thank you very much, Adam.
Yeah, you can watch Tony, like I said earlier, on Major Crimes Tonight and every Monday at 9, 8 Central on TNT. Also, make sure you follow him on Twitter at RealTonyDenison. Thanks for listening to Next Level Radio. Make sure you head over to nextlevelradioonline.com for more guest spotlights along with our other shows throughout the week. And be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to us on iTunes. That wraps up another Next Level Radio guest spotlight. See you next time.